Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of FSi DFS Fantasy Baseball Picks. I'm your host, MegaRuler31. Just going to do a quick video, really quick for the early slate. Today's a little upside down with baseball because of Hurricane Hillary that's coming. All four West Coast games that were scheduled Sunday that will be affected, which would be the Dodgers game, the Angels game, the Padres game, and I think there was another one. They all got, maybe there's only three. They all got moved to double headers today. So Sunday's game actually is going to be like a 3 o'clock game. And then the night slate has now turned into like an 11 game slate, but they're really up in the air on like who the pitchers are going to be for some of these games. And we don't know what the batters are going to be too, because people might be rested or if somebody gets hurt in the first game, so could be a little bit goofy. But FanDuel has a 2-game early slate. I don't have the afternoon slate stuff up yet to look at pricing, and then DK has a early 4-game slate, so I'm just going to cover those. Check back later in the day for the evening, and I'll try to put out some notes or maybe attach a picture of the sheet for the night slate to try to help you out on that if we get a clearer picture on it. So early slate's pretty simple. A lot of wind blowing out in different places. Cole's going to be the top pitcher, so you have the Yankees and the Red Sox here. Wind blowing out 10 miles per hour, 75 degrees, perfect day for baseball. Cutter Crawford, I think, could be in play as a cheap one, as a punt here, because the Yankees have struggled offensively. They are putting up some runs, and Judge, had a home run and stuff. But other than that, the rest of the lineup has strikeouts and doesn't really scare anybody. So Crawford definitely could be a good value here. I think Cole will definitely be the top pitcher on the slate. Boston makes a great leverage stack against him. I definitely take the lefties, and if he has an off day, then should have lower ownership here. And the Yankees, you can fill in for GPP or cash. They're relatively cheap. Next game is in Chicago. It's Kansas City Royals and the Cubs. The wind is blowing out here 13 to 15 miles per hour, 80 degrees. So definitely significantly good hitting weather. Singer, who's been okay recently, but I don't know, it's just GPP kind of scares me. Steele's been up and down also, but with the wind and the way Kansas City's been hitting recently also scares me. So they're both just GPP plays and pretty risky potentially with the wind and the hitting conditions. So love Kansas City here as a cheap stack. They make things work really well with Cole, and Cubs on the other side are expensive. It's hard to get with Cole. You'd probably have to go down to Dunning or maybe a Peralta or somebody like that. But if you play the bottom of the lineup, you can pretty much get them in, but it's hard to get the more expensive bats in a good hitting situation. Brewers and Rangers, Peralta and Dunning. Peralta, I think is okay, but Texas is a very good hitting team. They only have a 3.4 or 4.32 total, which is lower for Texas, usually up closer to the high 4 into the 5s. But Peralta's been solid at times during the season. Dunning on the other side has been good also, and Walkie has been up and down also. So pitching here is just kind of a toss-up. Bats, I don't think I'm really going to play them unless they're one-offs or in GPP. For cash, unless they're going to focus on the Chicago game with the wind. And these teams are there. Again, if you're multi-entering, definitely stack them. Using the fill-ins, the only thing I want to really call out is Tellus should be back here, and he's only 2K if you want to punt at first base, who's a decent player and should be good lefty against a righty. Philly and Washington. Philly's got the highest total on the slate. The wind's blowing out here too, 8 miles per hour. Christopher Sanchez is good young pitcher in the rotation. I was really high on him coming out of spring training, and then he kind of didn't make the club, but he did do well in AAA, and now he's back up here. The Nationals have been hitting well recently, though. They've been they win like 7 of the last 8 and like 12 of the last 15. I think they have one of the best records since the All-Star break. So, I mean, it's too little too late for the season, but definitely a young team putting it together for next year, potentially. So, but Sanchez, I think, has to be in play just with the nature of the slate here, and might be a decent cheap pitcher to take a shot on. And Jake Irvin, I probably definitely no interest in. So Philly's going to be a top hitting stack on the slate next to like Chicago and Kansas City with the wind. And against a really bad pitching matchup with wind blowing out. And then I really like the Nationals too. Don't sleep on Stone Garrett. He's been really consistent. Even Abrams, lefty and lefty, has been fine. So lots of decent pieces on this Washington team is young bats. I think we're going to be hearing about for years to come if they could get some decent pitching in there. Maybe like Baltimore and Arizona and some of these other teams, they can start to turn things around. So next up, I guess that's all for this slate. So if you look at the builds, it's really simple here. We've got Cole as your SP1. I think I'm going to lean more Kansas City in cash here and then fill in with Philadelphia. But if you want to go more Cubs and can make it work, then I'm fine with that. FanDuel, like I said, you just take Cole and then just pretty much take you can pretty much stack the game. It's much easier on that slate. Plus, you only have 4 teams to pick from. And then and for FanDuel, like GPP or anything else. And then Dunning, I'm going to take for a GPP, and then I'm going to take Washington bats and fill in with Chicago Candelario. Just keep in mind it's on Chicago and not in the Cubs anymore. So again, it's pretty quick. If you have questions, put them in the chat below. Check back tonight around 6:30 p.m. and I'll try to have some notes for the night slate to help you out on that once we get a clearer picture of how things are going. And if you want more information on FSi DFS, or if you want to get into our Discord and see all the full stuff, our package is really cheap, so you can go to the description of the video and sign up from there. And if these videos help you, you've already helped us by watching it, but if you want to go a little bit further, like it, subscribe to our channel, and share with your friends. So hope you have a good weekend. Good luck. Hopefully, if you're out in the West Coast there, and the hurricane comes, that the rains aren't too damaging, but that just keep an eye on that for all sports. It could just definitely set things back a little bit for the weekend. So thanks for watching. I'll have the hopefully Xfinity video out for you this weekend too, and have a good weekend. I'll see you next time.